what we're going to focus on today is actually building your ideal client persona. And what that is a representation of the perfect client for you. Now, I understand that we work with clients that aren't necessarily the perfect clients for us. We want to say everybody's a perfect client for us. But in reality, the reason we want to hone in on a very specific client persona is because we want to talk to an individual. And what that does is it makes all of our marketing much more effective. So generally speaking, when we start looking at our marketing pieces, and as business owners, we have a general feel of what our target market is. We know who we want to work with. This is where everybody starts. And then some business owners, not most, but some, will drill down a little deeper to an ideal client profile. But then very few ever get to the point where they build an ideal client persona. And what I want to get you guys to do is drill down to the ideal client persona. And so I'm just going to use my company as an example. So my target market at the highest level is business owners. That's a lot, right? That's not very specific at all, business owners. My ideal client profile is a little more specific. It's small business owners in 1 million to 15 million in top line revenue, generally speaking, because I want them to be able to afford to work with us. And then generally in the Midwest, we work with clients all over the country, but I live in the Midwest and it's a little bit easier reach for me in the Midwest. So that's my ideal client profile. My ideal client persona, however, is far more detailed. It's like the favorite kind of human that tends to be super profitable for us. They stay around a long time. They buy multiple services. And so I named her Strategic Stephanie. Now it could be a guy like Alan. Alan's an ideal client, but Strategic Stephanie or Strategic Stephan, Alan, if that works better for you. But Strategic Stephanie is the one I'm going to use today. So I want to look at some reasons why this is important before we actually dive into doing the work. So the first one is it helps you really target your marketing efforts because you understand who you're talking to. It's like if you're in a room full of people and someone just says, hey, and you just are talking, you don't hear the hey, you're not listening for that. Or if you hear someone say, ladies and gentlemen, that might get your attention more because you are a lady or a gentleman. So you are more apt to look when someone says it. But if someone says, hey, Karen's going to turn around and look because she hears her name. She sees herself in what that person is saying. That's how specific you want to get. And the reason why it's important is because it ultimately saves time and money with all of your marketing and increases the effectiveness because you're talking to very specific people. It also makes your brand messaging stronger and it connects. All right. When you are talking directly to a specific person, you tend to build more trust and your messages are more relatable. And in the third level, it's product and service alignment. So you actually offer things that your ideal client needs and wants to solve the problems that they have. As an example, one of the things that we've introduced in the past year is a performance marketing program because our ideal clients, the ones that we really want to work with, they want marketing strategies and systems. So we brought a product to life that didn't exist before. And that was just all based on what our ideal client persona represents. It's also a more efficient use of your time and resources because you're focusing on strategies and channels that drive results for your company. Now, in our case, our ideal client, Strategic Stephanie, she's not on TikTok. She's on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram. So that's really where we focus our efforts. Now, that's different for every business, but every dollar an hour spent on your marketing efforts goes to the right place to attract the right people. And then the fifth one is you, of course, when you're working with people who are your ideal clients, they resonate with you. You have a lot in common. They tend to stick around and they become raving fans and they give you referrals. So again, it's when you define your ideal client, it's not that you're not going to work with other people. It's that you're going to use your marketing to target that specific person. Now, you might catch other people in the net, and then you decide if you want to take them on or not, if they're a good fit. But you really want to cast the net that pulls in the specific type of person that works with you most successfully and that you work with most successfully. And so that's what we're going to work on today. The bottom line is the ideal customer persona actually becomes an asset in your business and becomes a foundation for the growth of your company. And this is what it looks like. If you remember Venn diagrams from math class in high school or junior high, so you've got the ability to invest in whatever it is that you offer. And then you've got pain points or challenges that the person has. And then you've got their goals and desires, what they want, and where those all intersect is really what your ideal customer persona is. That is what we're going to get to today. I'm going to escape out of this and we're going to dive into what that looks like. Here is the MSW Interactive Designs ideal customer persona. I'm going to show you this ahead so that then you have a vision of what it is that you're ultimately going to create for your business. So this is Strategic Stephanie. So she is in her mid-50s, married with grown children, doesn't necessarily have to have children. It's really the age range that matters, because what that does is it tells me she's had a successful business for a long enough time that she's generating the revenue that will make her someone in our ecosystem that can afford to pay for our services. She lives in a suburban or upscale area in the Midwest. She owns small business. The size is 1 to 15 million, financially stable. She might be cautious with larger investments unless the return on investment is clear. So this matters when we're communicating our message, because we need to make sure she understands what that return on investment is going to look like. And then we've got the personality and psychographics. So she values authenticity. These are her priorities, her fears, her motivations, what success looks like for her. And then her behaviors and interests. So where is she on social media? Who does she follow? What does she watch? What does she like to do? And this has more to do with the culture. And for me, even though we do marketing and stuff, I love hiking, kayaking, and personal development, growth, and all of that. And so I love working with people who are into personal development, ongoing learning, and then outdoor activities. So it's just the way that I'm going to speak to people to try to attract more of people like that. The preferred content, educational how-tos, and then her buying journey and objections. So these are all things that we're going to look at as we go through and answer questions for your ideal client. So her challenges are inconsistent marketing efforts, difficulty automating lead generation, her objections, concerned about financial investment, unsure she can commit. People who influence her. This matters because people ask for opinions, as we all see on Facebook and Instagram. People want to know what other people think. So peer recommendations, it's important that we know that. Her preferred messaging is clear, confident, supportive. And then the marketing strategy that we're going to use to talk to Strategic Stephanie comes from all of that information. So if you've seen any of our marketing, and here you are today, we're offering free resources, we're offering free webinars, we're training, teaching people. I love to work with people who love to learn, and here you all are. So it's very important to me to attract people like you into our client ecosystem. So what it does is it guides how we're going to speak, who we're going to reach out to, what platforms we're going to reach out on, and then the kind of language that we're going to use and the resources that we're going to give them to position us as an expert in our field. So you will ultimately have a document like this when you're done building your ideal customer persona. So before I move on and we start working on it, do you have any questions so far? Okay, and I can't see all of you, so don't raise your hand, just say something if you have a question and interrupt me. Okay.
I got a quick one, Sandy.
Yep.
Like for me, I feel like we have a couple different lanes of products in my business. So I guess probably for folks like that, you should be probably thinking about one of those lanes in this because there's some overlap, right? But for Exto versus Lake Expo, there's obviously it's different.
Yes.
So
Yes, that's actually a very good point, Nathan. And so a company can have more than one ideal customer persona, and you want to separate it if you've got multiple offerings, separate it by your product or service lines. Okay. And the reason that you want to do that and have a separate persona for each one is because when you're running ads, and Nathan, you can speak to this in reinforcement, you do not want to run an ad that has 8 things in it that you do, because that doesn't speak to anyone. You want to have multiple ads, each ad having a very specific, clear message that solves one single problem. And the language that you're going to use in those ads it's going to be different depending on who you're talking to. I like to use an example, like we work with a lot of realtors in the local area. Let's say we were trying to target people like Jane Kelly. Jane is in, I think, her late 50s, maybe early 60s, I'm not sure, but very professional, longtime realtor in this particular market. And she's all about class, excellence, all that stuff. And then we've got another realtor in town, same business, only Mike Swift, he's got a very unique marketing tactic. He works with all these beautiful women and really leans on sexuality and attractiveness and that sort of thing. 2 very different people. So my ads, if I were just talking to realtors, there's a whole gamut of different types of people in that space. Jane is more my ideal client. The message that I would write in my ads for MSW to attract realtors like Jane would not interest the Mike Swifts of the world at all. On the other hand, if I wrote ad copy to target guys like Mike Swift, Jane Kelly would not pay any attention to that ad. Does that make sense? You're actually talking to a specific ideal customer persona. You have to decide who that is for you. And that's how you attract those people, is by speaking their language and no one else's language. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm going to come over here to the document. Now, did you guys get the PDF and were you able to open it? Okay, as we go through, this is going to be, you're actually going to do the work while we're talking. Now, if you can't type on a PDF, no problem, just use your journal. And I'm going to have you go through and answer these questions and actually write down the answers. And then you can compile your own document later. But I'm going to teach you how to do it now so that you can complete this end product for your business. So the very first question I want you to answer is, what is your ideal client's age, gender, and life stage? So an example is she's female, mid-40s, married, whatever that is for you, take a minute, about 60 seconds, and just write that down. Who is your ideal client? And if you're struggling, think about the person that you would pick up the phone for 100% of the time if they called you. As a client, you see the name pop up on the phone, it's like, oh, I got to grab this. This client is so important to me. I'm going to pause everything else I'm doing. Who's that? What do they look like? Give you just a few more seconds to write that one down. The next one is, what is their profession or industry? So we want to get specific. Where we talked about for MSW, it's business owners, but then we got more specific. It's small business owners between 1 and 15 million in revenue. We're getting even more specific now. As specific as you can. And I see, Haley, I saw you sent a Facebook message. Do I need to look on my phone?
She lost power.
Oh, okay, got it. All right, the next one, what is their income range or financial situation? For me, again, it's that 1 to 15 million in revenue because I'm B2B. That's the size of the businesses that I want to attract. If you are business to consumer, that's fine. What's their normal revenue or income level? So like Liz sells alpaca items, which based on my experience shopping, alpaca is not the cheapest material to use. So they need to have a little bit of income to afford the alpaca clothing. What is the income level or the financial situation of the people that you're trying to attract? Because you want to make sure that they can afford to pay you. And then the next one is, where do they live? So we serve clients nationwide. For me though, my language is going to be Midwest language because that's where I spend most of my time. That's where most of my contacts are. That's what's going to be relatable in my space. Where do they live for you? Where are your ideal clients? What kind of language do you need to speak to attract that ideal client? Okay, so we did the demographics. Now we're going to move into psychographics. So what are their values, priorities, and personal beliefs? As an example, prioritize integrity and time efficiency, values high quality work. So what is it? And I understand that right now you might be guessing, but here's what you can do if you really want to hone this down the right way. Is that ideal client that you would pick up the phone for on a moment's notice? You could pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, I'm doing this exercise for this marketing webinar that I'm doing, and I'm building out my ideal client profile. You are my ideal client. Can you answer a few questions for me? And just get it straight from the horse's mouth. This is a great way to get that information. And the next one is, what are their biggest fears and challenges? In my case, are they, afraid of being overshadowed by competitors, not found in Google? What are they struggling with? And then the next one is, what motivates them to take action? What motivates them to take action? Is whatever pain or challenge they're having so great? But what's the tipping point where they actually take action? Because you want to be able to speak to that. Sometimes in marketing, we need to agitate a problem. This is where you would agitate a problem or amplify a problem in your marketing language. And then the next one is, how do they define success in their life or their work? In my case, achieving growth in their business while maintaining a work-life balance. That's important to my ideal client because it's why they outsource their marketing instead of doing it themselves. And then the next one is their behaviors and interests. So where do they spend their time online? This is important because we want to know where to focus our efforts. There are so many places that we can reach or try to reach people. Radio, billboard, Lake Expo, online marketing, social media marketing, all of these things. If you have a client, an ideal client that isn't on social media, and let's say you deal with an older population, they're not on social media, they make the buying decisions, they're the ones that pull out the wallets, then why waste your time on social media? Go into church bulletins. I'm saying, so we want to know where they spend their time, if they spend their time online. Where is it? Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook? Where is it? Reddit? And if you're not sure, that would be the time to pick up the phone, call your ideal client or someone who is one of those people you'd pick up the phone for and ask them that question. What hobbies, interests, and activities are they passionate about? So for me, loves hiking, volunteers at nonprofits, and enjoys personal development. These are the kind of people that I generally like. I like to like the humans that I work with. I could work with anybody, but I don't like cranky people. So I've got a dog as my logo. I love basset hounds. I love dogs. If somebody hates dogs and they don't like what they see when they come to our website, I am perfectly fine with that. They're not my people. Make sense? Number 11, and we're almost done with the questions. What type of content do they consume most? For me, people who like to learn, business owners who like to learn, typically do things like this. They listen to podcasts, they read books. So what type of content do your ideal clients consume the most? Again, you might be guessing right now, but put something down. And then the buying journey. What challenges or problems are they actively seeking solutions for? For me, generally, people come to us when they can't get found in Google, when they've got an outdated website, when their website isn't generating leads, when they don't know what to do on social media or they don't have time to do social media. So what is it for you in your business? What challenges or problems do they actively seek solutions for related to what you do? The next one is, what objections might they have about buying your product or service? We want to really put some thought into this because our marketing language, our marketing materials, and how we approach things needs to be able to overcome and address these objections. So for me, most of the time it's cost or time commitment. So that's going to frame how I pitch what we do. It's going to frame how I write my copy for my ads. It's going to frame the stuff that I put on my website. In other words, I need to, with my language, really showcase value so that the price doesn't seem high compared to the value. What is that for you? Am I going too fast? Are you guys good? Okay, I didn't hear anybody say I was going too fast. So what kind of language or messaging resonates with them? So is it an empathetic tone? Is it a strong, confident tone? What kind of language or messaging resonates? This kind of stuff matters because we want people to pay attention to the content, copy, and ad stuff that we produce. So what kind of language resonates with that person? Again, we're thinking of a single person. And then who or what influences their decisions? So in my case, and in a lot of people's cases, it's peers and recommendations from other people. So they say people now go actually actively search 7 to 11 times to get feedback on their decision before they actually make the decision. It's crazy. But people want to know. So what influences your buyers, your ideal client? And then I'm going to give you 2 or 3 minutes for this one. How does my product or service help my ideal client? What specifically does it do to help them solve a problem or challenge?
Sandy, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Can I fill this out and email it to you? I'm having trouble writing on a PDF.
Sure.
So, okay. And then can they
Absolutely.
just be succinct
Mhm.
answers? Okay. You don't want to have an essay?
No, so this is actually a really good point, Alan. What we're going to do is once we've filled out the basics here, we are going to leverage ChatGPT to actually help us build it out in detail. So you'll see what ChatGPT can do to help you really, really make this robust and useful for your business.
I'll definitely need some help with that. Do I need to register with them?
Yeah, you can use a free account right now. You just go to chatgpt.com. So we'll do that when we get to that point. Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, anyone need more time on this one? To speak up because I can't see you all.
Nope, good.
Okay. All right. So here's step 2. This is where ChatGPT comes into play. Now you may or may not be able to do this in real time with us while we're on this call, but I'm going to demonstrate to you how this works. What you're going to do is you're going to take those answers and you're going to write a summary paragraph using all the stuff that you wrote down to describe your ideal client. This is going to become part of your ideal client persona. And I recommend that you use ChatGPT to do it because the output that you're going to get is going to blow your mind. So here's what I want you to do. If you have ChatGPT open, or if you don't, you just open another browser tab and go to chatgpt.com. You can use the free version for now. And this is the prompt that I want you to use. So, acting as the world's top brand and marketing strategist with expertise in the story brand framework. Now, I put the story brand framework in there because it's a great marketing framework that is geared around solving problems for ideal clients. So, I want to use the story brand framework. I want to analyze the information about my ideal client. And I want to use this to craft a clear, compelling, ideal client persona and a detailed marketing strategy that will effectively reach, engage, and convert this audience. So here's what I'm going to do, you guys. I'm just literally going to copy this prompt. I'm going to come over to ChatGPT and I'm going to paste it in. I am not going to hit enter. Okay, I'm not going to hit enter because I am going to copy and paste all the stuff that I wrote down in here too. I'm going to show you a trick. If you hit Shift Enter in ChatGPT, that's how you get line breaks. If you've not done that, make sure you write that down so you remember. Hit Shift Enter. And then I'm going to come back over here. And at the bottom of this document that I shared with you, I actually have my example. Let's just say this is yours. I'm actually going to copy and paste this. Okay, so put this in, if you're writing it right now, just put it in a Word document, copy and paste it, and then I'm going to paste it in here. So I've got my prompt, and then I pasted in here all the answers, the questions and answers. Okay, so I'm telling ChatGPT exactly what I want, and I gave it the information. And then I'm going to hit enter. So now ChatGPT is going to process this and come back with something. Okay, so ChatGPT is like, okay, here's your ideal client persona. So it's taken everything I gave it. It summarized it for me. It's elaborated on it. And now it's giving me a marketing strategy. So it's saying, okay, so in the awareness stage, to capture her attention, we want to go to LinkedIn and share practical, insightful posts on marketing trends, automation, and small business growth strategies. Go and do some educational content marketing. So it's telling me exactly what to do for awareness. It's telling me exactly what to do for engagement. So lead magnets, email nurturing sequences, case studies, and interactive webinars. It's telling me what to do in the conversion stage. It's fantastic what it gives you if you give it the right information. And these are all actually very good recommendations. And these are all things that we generally do as a company. But if you're not doing these things, and again, yours will be different for your ideal customer profile, then these are things that you should consider adding into your mix. And then key messaging, right? So it's giving me some ideas for clarity and consistency. Say goodbye to marketing guesswork, build a clear, consistent marketing engine that drives growth, time freedom, proven results, effortless visibility, like all of that from that single prompt and the basic information that I gave about my ideal client persona. Thoughts on that? Questions? Impressive? Is it cool?
I have a
What do you guys think?
question,
Yep.
Sandy. So, just me being a lowly sedation dentist, do you guys do this for us? I'll fill out the form. I'll put it in. I'll get the free version of ChatGPT. Is this what we pay you to do?
Yeah, so Alan is a client on our performance marketing program. And yes, Alan, we do build this stuff for you as part of what we're doing in the program with you.
You want me to go through these steps of what you outlined today and
Yeah,
provide this to you?
yeah, that would be wonderful. Absolutely. Yep.
Thank you.
And it can just be bullet points. Now, if you're not a client, I'm just teaching you this so that you know how to do it on your own. So I'm going to come back over here to the building your ideal client. I'm going to come back up to where we left off, which was step 2. All right, so now we have our ideal client persona, and we have our detailed marketing strategy. Now, let me just remind you really quick here. If ChatGPT gets something wrong, it's okay to correct it. It's okay to respond down here and say, you said she was in her 50s or 40s, I don't remember what it said, mid 50s. If it ended up getting that wrong, you could say, let's correct this where needed because my ideal client's actually in her mid 30s. Anything on here. The first time I did this, it left off Facebook as a channel to prioritize, and it looks like it actually did here too. So I would say, based on the age of my ideal client, why did you leave off Facebook? Let's see what it says. Where the human brain comes in. Oh, see, it says I'm right. I like it when it says I'm right. So it's going to come back and it's going to give me some information about Facebook. So then I could say, I could come back and say, great, can you give me that whole plan again, only include Facebook? And it'll rebuild the whole plan and include Facebook. So you can copy and paste it into your ideal customer persona document that you're creating. So don't be afraid to challenge it and question it and see what it comes back with. The next thing I'm going to do is go to step 3, or was that step 3? Did I miss step 3? Okay, this is step 3. Pretend this is 3. I'm going to fix it. Okay, so we want to talk to a person, and I always recommend creating a picture of the person because it's much easier to target your messaging to a human being that you can see. Now, there's a lot of ways that you can do this. You can actually take a picture. As an example, I taught a workshop at Karen, you actually were in it at the chamber on your ideal customer profile about 6 years ago. And I used Fran Campbell, who now lives in Kansas City, but she was a realtor at Lake of the Ozarks, and she was absolutely my ideal client. So I just used her face so that I could visualize who I'm talking to when I'm writing my ads. So you can do that. You can use an actual person's picture. You can go to Shutterstock or iStock Photo and you can search for pictures. You can just go online. As long as you're not using them publicly somewhere, there's no problem. Just go ahead and put a picture, attach it to the profile. But you can also use ChatGPT. So I've got a prompt here. So all you have to do is copy and paste it. Create a highly detailed photorealistic image of my ideal client based on the description you created. The image should be bright, engaging, and professional, capturing the essence of my ideal client persona. So that strategic Stephanie that you saw in the document I showed you a minute ago, that's her. But let's just see what it comes up with this time. So all I'm going to do is paste this in here. You'll see what it comes up with. I love doing this in real time because you never know what you're going to get. Oh, there we go. Love the hair. That's great. And if it doesn't get it exactly right, if that's not relatable to you, you can ask it to adjust. So let's just say I work with a more diverse community. Let's make her an, let's say, African-American woman. African-American woman. There we go. Isn't that cool, you guys? I get excited. I nerd out on stuff like this. It's just pretty freaking cool.
What about a guy?
Yeah, okay. So let's do this because in my ideal customer persona that it's working from, it actually says she's a woman. Now let's do this. I'm going to say, that's great. Oops. Now let's make a male version.
You've got great misspelled also.
That's all right. It figures it out. You don't have to be perfect. That's the cool thing about it too, because I fat finger just about everything. There we go. But stuck with the African-American, but still fits the bill. And I could say I work with a diverse community. Let's make it an Asian guy. So whatever that is for you, whoever your ideal client persona is, you can do that. And it will come back with a picture. And then right here, you guys, you can download the picture. See the arrow here. You can download the picture and then just pull it right into your document. So now I'm going to come to step 4, not 5, step 4. And then you want to give your ideal client a name. So if you don't have something off the top of your head that flows, you can use ChatGPT for ideation. So I gave you a prompt in the document that you can copy and paste in, and I want it to give us a few examples to choose from. So let's just say now I'm just going to paste this prompt in. So acting as the world's top brand strategist and expert in customer profiling, generate 3 to 5 creative and memorable names for my ideal client persona. Each name should include a descriptive adjective that reflects their personality or role in their business. The name should feel authentic and relatable to help me create content that connects directly with this type of client. So let's see what it comes up with. Okay, so we're looking at strategic Simone, driven Danielle, empowered Elise, visionary Vanessa, and focused Franklin. So I confused it a little bit by putting the male and female in there. So it's giving me options for all of them. So now I chose strategic Stephanie when I created it for MSW, but all of these are really good too. So you put an adjective in front of it in your team, or you or whoever your marketing people are writing for driven Danielle versus Daisy Duke Danielle. There's going to be 2 different types of messages and verbiage that you're going to use, right? So that's why I love putting the adjective in front of the name, because they instantly communicate the kind of person that you're actually writing copy for and producing graphics for. Does that make sense? Okay. And then we're going to go, and I've got in the document that I sent to you the full example for MSW. So that will help you guide what you're doing for yours, so you can actually see specifically what I did. So the whole entire exercise is done using MSW as an example. And then I showed you what ChatGPT came out with for me the first time I did it. So all of it's here, so you can compare what you guys are doing with yours. And then what I did is I just took all of the stuff and I pulled it out of my Canva document and I put it in a PDF, exported it as a PDF. And that's how I got my document. That's my ideal client persona. That's the one I just sent you guys. There we go, this one. So here's my ideal customer persona document now that will live in the archives of MSW, be shared with my team. And so now we know who we're talking to, how we want to reach them, and what kind of messaging we want to include. And that will help us build messaging that resonates with people, the people that we want to talk to, the people we want to convert, and the people that we want to send contracts to and close. I'm going to stop sharing for a minute because we've got about 10 minutes for Q&A. What do you guys think? Questions, comments, thoughts?
I think it's really easy. It looks very easy.
Yeah, it is very easy, especially when you leverage the tech, right? ChatGPT is an indispensable tool. It is not cheating. I had a meeting, I don't remember who I was talking to the other day. It's like, I'm coming around to ChatGPT because I was resistant because I felt like it was cheating. It's not cheating, it's a tool. So you're the one coming to it with the answers. So I gave you the questions, you just write out the answers, put it into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will produce the whole entire document for you.
I think this is going to be especially useful for my team for equipping my sales team better. And that's what you were saying that you do. I love the point about the adjective in front of the name too, because I see exactly what you mean. But yeah, being able to, we haven't ever done an ideal client profile for our sales team before. And the net result of that is it's like everybody, right? Which, as we all know, is not actually ideal. So I think this will help them. They'll still probably go after everybody on some level, but this will help, I think, help my sales team clarify the better leads to chase. So this is
Absolutely. Yes. And that's the whole point. And that's where you're really leveraging your investment in money and time, because we all have limited resources. Time and money are both limited resources. And the more specific you can get with who your ideal client is, the more all of your marketing is going to work, number one. The better it's going to convert, the better it's going to resonate, and the better it's going to attract the kind of people that you love to do business with. Now, again, you're targeting it very specifically, and you might catch some other people. That's fine. And then you get to decide, are they a good fit for what we do? But you are really honing your message, and it optimizes every single aspect of your marketing when you do that. So that's why it's important. I think it's foundational when we're talking about a visibility transformation challenge. The visibility transformation starts with knowing exactly who you're trying to reach and who you're speaking to. And it's going to change the way you write. It's going to change what you post. It's going to change the way you think about what's going to be valuable to the people you're trying to reach. So like, I get comments. So if you're friends with me on social media, every single morning I post a positive quote. I have had people say to me, that is the most annoying thing. I don't know why you do that. That's okay. It's not for you. You're not who I'm trying to talk to. You're not who I'm trying to reach. If you're a grumpy Gilmore, I don't want to do business with you anyway. So that's okay. So I actually hone in and target and write and post things to attract the kind of people that I want to do business with and I want to have in my circle. So that is what this exercise does. And that's why I started it to kick off the challenge, because I think it really frames everything you do from this point forward. So I'm gonna share my screen one more time. Are there any other questions before I jump to the closing
Andy,
this up? Yeah.
it's Alan.
Yeah.
The free version of ChatGPT will do exactly what you just showed us.
Yeah, the free version will do what I just showed you, but I am going to encourage everyone to get the paid version. It's only $20 a month and it is worth it. And the reason why is because not next session, but the one after that, we are going to build custom GPTs for your business. And that's going to be a solid asset for you to use for many aspects of your business besides just marketing, but you can only do that in the paid version. And if you don't want to do it, that's fine. You can just come and learn how to do it, but you have to have the paid version in order to build the custom GPT. So that'll be on our February 14th session.
Okay. And hi to Mark and Karen, by the way.
Any other questions before I close out?
I do have a comment. Hi, Sandy. I'm sorry.
Hi. I can't see you, but I can hear you.
I had to get back on. I was going through my chat on my phone because I have it on the phone and on the computer. So I keep coming up with not really my ideal, because it's honing in on urban communities, which is what I do. And it's not really giving me the value of what I charge. So it keeps sending me to places that I will probably, I'm just brainstorming right now, have to, I would say, more or less ask for a budget from organizations, shelters, and things like that. So how would I write that to say I'm looking for budgeting, because I can't go over what I charge somebody individually that I know has the money.
So are you doing group stuff? Or are you doing one-on-one stuff? What's your primary
group
coaching?
And one-on-one? And my primary is, I would really say right now, I'm doing more one-on-ones because I'm not working at the companies that I used to work at. I was doing a lot of group settings prior to this. But when you think about what I do, mental health and substance use, there's not a lot of financial money, which that never was something I was worried about because I was getting a paycheck. But now that I'm doing this as a business, I want to see how can I get and keep those clients engaged by not charging or undercharging my value and then overcharging what they can actually say so they can see the results, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. So a couple things, and this goes a little bit outside of this on the ideal client side of it. First of all, if you're starting your own business and you're going to be a coach, you have to make money. You have to define what your income, what you want your income to be, how many clients you can handle, and then divide that by how many clients you need. And then that will come up with the price that you're going to charge them. From there, the people who can't afford to pay you are not your ideal clients. It doesn't mean you don't want to help them. I understand, but there are plenty of people in the space that need the kind of help that you provide that can afford to pay you. And if you, outside of the one-on-one, if you're going to go to groups, and I want you to think about this, there is money, there's grant money, there's all kinds of money in spaces where there's communities that come together that you could do group coaching. In that case, your ideal client is not going to be the people in the urban areas that have the actual issues. Your ideal client is going to be the decision maker who runs the community organization or community facility. And that's how you have to gauge your marketing then. So your marketing is going to go to the person in charge of the group services for the community that's underserved. Does that make sense? And that's a whole different message.
Yes, and it makes a lot of sense. And with that being said, in group settings, when I do them as outside of organizations, I get back to what I would normally charge for that 1 hour by saying I need at least 10 people in this group. Like if I did a church organization, that would pay $20. That's $200 for that 1 hour. If they need 2 hours, which I charge anywhere between 75 to 100, depending
Perfect.
on what the issue is, right?
So
But when
you really have,
Yeah.
you really have two different client personas then. I love the way you're approaching the group from the urban community. So they're going to come in and maybe pay $20 a piece. Then that's going to be one message for a group session. And then the organized group sessions in the facilities and organizations that would bring you in to speak to that community, that's going to be another ideal client persona. It's going to have different language.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm on the right track.
Right.
Thank you, Sandy.
Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, I'm going to share my screen really quick and just bring you back to show you the last screen here so that you know what's coming up. So we're going to, on February 5th, hopefully between now and February 5th, you'll have time to build out your ideal client persona, get the document, get the picture, know exactly who you're talking to. And Coach P, Patricia, maybe you'll have two separate documents for your messaging, for your marketing. Okay. And then on February 5th, we're going to talk about building your brand kit. The brand kit is going to contain your ideal customer persona, plus a lot of other things. And we're going to talk about what those things are. And I'm going to show you how to leverage ChatGPT to help you build that. And then, so that's the first Wednesday in February. And then the second Friday in February, which is our second call of the month, we're actually going to build a custom GPT for your business. So those two sessions are just like a week apart. On February 5th, I'm going to show you how to leverage it. On February 14th, I'm going to show you how to build it. Okay. So brand kit and then custom GPT. And it is 1 o'clock. I am going to sign off, let you guys go. Use the Facebook group to communicate, share, ask questions. I try to check it at least once a day, and I will answer as many questions as I can there. And I really appreciate you guys showing up for this. It's also recorded, so give me a few days to get this over to Lucas, who will get it edited and put it up on YouTube, so you can rewatch portions if you want to. All right, you guys have a good day, and I will see you soon.